Yo, I'm Q Harrison. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show with your man, Paul Hickey. What's good? No off season.
What's up, everyone? This is Duke Dodson from Graybo's, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network. And remember, there is no off season.
This is Mark Aaron from WSB Radio in Atlanta, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, the #1 place for advice on how to make money flipping sports cards. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there is no off season.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show brought to you by Graybo's Sports Cards. Graybo's Sports Cards is a local card shop located in Richmond, Virginia, and is owned by Gray Burnett, Ryan Fitz, and Duke Dodson, who you know as Denny One Time. Graybo's sports the best selection of singles in the Mid-Atlantic and a wide variety of wax. Graybo's is happy to announce that they are now the only direct buyer of Topps Bowman in Central Virginia and are now breaking daily on Fanatics Live. They are moving to their new larger shop, which will be connected to the hottest sports bar in Richmond in the near future. Stay tuned for those details. Listeners of Sports Card Strategy Show can use the promo code GRAYBOS20 to get $20 off their first purchase with Graybo's on Fanatics Live. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take Sports Card School to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. What's up? NoOffSeason.com fam. Paul Hickey back in the studio after a little break. We did some pre-recorded episodes the last couple of shows. Thank you, fam, for the positive feedback we had on a little bit of my story regarding why I don't have a PC and, you know, a little collector versus investor debate. I call it a little enlightening conversation rather than a debate because I think everything is allowed in the hobby. I certainly understand collectors and certainly understand investors. And I think that most people are actually both from what I know about the hobby. So anyway, one love out there to all of you. Appreciate all of your support. Paul Hickey back in the studio, ready to get it going. Is it me or is it hard to make money flipping sports cards? Well, I got your back, everybody. Today we're going to go through some of the top 5 sports cards to buy raw and grade per the formula-based sports card rankings at NoOffSeason.com. We've got a nice long Will They Gem segment because I've got a massive PSA submission that's been building up. So hopefully all of you will enjoy that. And then we've got a new segment on today's show that we're going to end with. It's hobby questions, just some fun hobby questions that we've been asking some of our fellow content creators. Today's fellow content creator is none other than Dustin, the sports card dad. You probably know him from his YouTube channel, Sports Card Dad. So we're going to hear from Dustin on the hobby questions. But first, let's not forget, for those of you who are in the live chat at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, you can drop your L's, you can drop your dubs, you can drop some comments. We're going to give you some love throughout the show. We've got Sergeant Slabs and Ryan Painter in the house. Good to see both of you. And we're going to get it popping here. But first, a couple of housekeeping notes. For those of you who don't know, if you want any questions answered, I do so at nooffseason.com/ask. So go to nooffseason.com/ask, ASK, and I'm going to answer your questions. And if you're not a premium member at nooffseason.com, you will need to sign up for a free 30-day trial to see that form at nooffseason.com/ask, but it's free for 30 days. So if you have any burning questions to help you make money flipping sports cards or just questions about the hobby in general, I'm happy to answer them. So please go to nooffseason.com/ask and answer them. Or you can drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey or join the Discord. There's a quick link there at sportscardstrategy.com as we say hello to Color Match Collect. Good to see you. All right, let's get into our question of the day. Now, this one has to do with some big news in the soccer world. Kylian Mbappe, formerly of Paris Saint-Germain, has signed what looks to be a long-term contract through 2029 with none other than the long-rumored Real Madrid. The Real Madrid move is real. He's going to Real Madrid to team up with Vinicius, one of my favorite soccer players, Vini Jr. And Kylian Mbappe, certainly probably one of the top 2 or 3 soccer players in the world right now. So buy, sell, or hold? That's today's question. Buy, sell, or hold? And we've got some data for you. So as you're answering the question on our pinned post on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy, follow us at Sports Card Strategy on Instagram. Find our pinned post to answer our question of the day, or you can go to our Discord to answer it. Again, quick link there at sportscardstrategy.com. And of course, you can throw it below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Kylian Mbappe, buy, sell, or hold. But as we were going to send out a sell alert for Kylian Mbappe, because myself, Lefty McKee, others in the nooffseason.com fam have been waiting for this transfer from Paris Saint-Germain to likely Real Madrid. We have to dig into the data, right? So for those of you who don't know, we send out sell alerts to help you make money flipping sports cards. You can subscribe to those sell alerts for free. All you have to do is text the words sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. That's sports cards to 1-833-5727. Sorry, 1-833-992-5727. But first, we look at the data, right? So when you look at Kylian Mbappe's data, you assume that a sell marker might be something like a transfer. But the soccer card market has been a bit of a conundrum for me in the last few years since Lefty and I started to work together on the Sports Card Strategy Show and talk a little bit more about soccer. And what I'm finding is that a transfer is not necessarily big enough news to move the needle for a guy like Kylian Mbappe, because as we dig into his data over the last 14 days, he really only has 2 cards that are going to give you some profit. And they are the black back 2018 Panini World Cup stickers 209. In PSA 10, that card is up 58.1%. So 2 sales of that card in the last 14 days. So that card's up $30. That's going to be just enough after eBay fees to give you some profit. And the PSA 9 version of the blackback 2018 Panini World Cup sticker 209 is up 50.9%, but that's really only up $8.90. So if you've been holding on to that one for a long time and you just want to get rid of it, you can move it. There are some other Kylian Mbappe cards that are up. His 2018 Donruss Optic National PSA 9, his 2018 Prism Base World Cup PSA 9, and his the PSA 10 version of that card are up just a little bit, just over 15%. And the 2019 Topps Chrome UEFA Champions League Sapphire Edition base PSA 10 is up 21.2%. But when you look at the actual dollar amounts of these cards, it's really not going to net you that much profit. His 2016 foot sticker with Quarantine Jean in PSA 9 is up 10.5%. That's $55. So you might get a little money there. But again, after eBay fees, really the only real card that's going to net you some profit right now for Kylian Mbappe, in spite of the transfer news to Real Madrid from PSG, is really his 2018 Panini World Cup 209 blackback sticker in PSA 10. That's a pop $14.54. However, it's up to you. Buy, sell, hold. Kylian Mbappe, buy, sell, hold. I want to know what you're doing. Lefty says it's a sell for me. Not sure he looked at the data. However, it might just be that he's thinking, let's hold Mbappe, let's sell Mbappe because we've been holding him for too long. So that could be the case. But I want to know what you're doing with Kylian Mbappe, because I think probably many of you have purchased Kylian Mbappe cards over the last couple of years. Certainly one of the top footballers in the world, certainly someone probably going into not only his Real Madrid debut, but going into the 2028 World Cup, 2026 World Cup, not 2028, the 2026 World Cup in North America that you would want to be holding. So I'm thinking he might be more of a buy for me, but I want to know what you guys think. Drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey as we say hello to David T, as we say hello to George Schurer, Joshua Flake. I think that's Jabroni Cards. What's up, brother? Ben Dowse in the house, and Jaymont. Love more of the family in the live chat. But of course, most of you are out there listening on the podcast apps or watching back at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. The sports card professor, that's Orest Boyko, one of the most intelligent people in the hobby. Good to see you in the live chat. Honored to have all of you with us. All right. It's time to get into helping you guys make money flipping sports cards. It's hard to do, but we've got a formula at nooffseason.com that clears the way. It clears the way for the path to profit, everybody. So you can profit by following our formula-based sports card rankings. All you have to do is go to nooffseason.com and get a free 30-day trial if you're not already a member. All right. So we're going to basically count down some of the top 5 sports cards on the raw to grade rankings, because that's based on real data. So it's based on what raw cards can you buy right now, what are the gem rate, and what gives you the most upside in a PSA 10. And based on the gem rate, all the other grades that you're likely to get buying that card raw, what's the average sale price to kind of minimize your risk, right? So this is, you don't need a selling marker for these cards because it's only based on raw to grade with the highest profit projected after the most likeliest grades come back from PSA based on the data. However, if you do pair it with a selling marker, you can make more money. And why would you not want to do that? So this is not just simply the top 5 cards in the raw to grade rankings at nooffseason.com. This is basically me picking 5 cards that I think are very relevant right now. And they're still new. They're still out on the market, being pulled out of packs, being listed on eBay, being listed on Whatnot, other marketplaces as well. And by the way, if you want to get $15 free on Whatnot, go to whatnot.sportscardstrategy.com. So let's get into it. Up first with a 30% ROI. All you have to do is find a Will Levis 2023 Prism Silver $397 for a target snipe price of $53. That's based on the last comp. And in PSA 10, it sells for $197 based on the last comp. So all in, you are likely to make 30% because there is a 48% gem rate. So you're not going to get a PSA 10 on all of the cards that you submit. But your average sale price based on all the grades you're likely to get back based on the data is likely to be $120.46. So if you were able to find enough of these Will Levis cards, Prism Silver $397, you could definitely make $1,000 profit by spending $3,308. That would mean you would need 48 of these. 48 of these would cost you $3,300, and you can make $1,000 off of that. So that's net profit. That's all fees included. All you got to do is go snipe price of $53. Now, of course, you can mix and match. You don't need to find 45 gradable of these because that might not be very realistic, but 30% ROI on the Will Levis 2023 Prism Silver. Of course, as many of you know, Will Levis likely to be an improved offense with a offensive-minded head coach there, and Brian Callahan in, Mike Vrabel out. He's also got some new weapons. He's got Calvin Ridley. He's got DeAndre Hopkins coming back. He's got Tony Pollard as a new weapon. So Treylon Burks, hopefully he can stay healthy. So there's a lot of weapons in Tennessee. Will Levis has a cannon. I'm excited to see what Will Levis can do in 2024, his second year. NFL starting quarterbacks go for a premium. We've seen a lot of NFL starting quarterback prices continue to rise percentage point by percentage point as we get closer and closer to training camp. So Will Levis definitely on the radar. And another Will Levis card, his Prism Laser 397. If you can't afford the $53 buy-in for the silver, or you just can't find a gradable one, $20 for his Prism Laser 397 raw. And you can actually make more ROI on that card based on our formula at nooffseason.com. 31% ROI there. Why? Because lower buy-in, slightly higher gem rate, and with the slightly higher gem rate, you have a higher average projected sale price if you wanted to sell it right away. If you wanted to hold it till early September, you might be able to make a little more on that, but you could spend $3,200 on 78 Will Levis 2003 Prism Laser 397s, and you'd net $1,000 if you can find 78 of them. Good luck with that. You probably can't. However, even if you can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gradable Prism Laser Will Levis 397s, you're likely to make that 31% ROI. So I like that play a lot. So again, there's a higher dollar play, there's a lower dollar play, but you can actually make more money based on our formula with the lower dollar play of the Prism Laser 397. So we're going to switch sports here. We're going to go to basketball, but first we'll say hello to Justin Stewart in the live chat. Good to see you, my man. Justin Stewart is a loyal audience member of the Sports Card Strategy Show and a great member of the nooffseason.com premium fam. Justin, we need to hear more from you at nooffseason.com/ask, my man. All right. So a player that I kind of like as a potential breakout in his second year of 2024 and his rookie cards still circulating, still being pulled, pack fresh, Scoot Henderson. His 2023 Prism Silver 141, that's a card in PSA 10 that the formula likes as well, and I've bought a couple of those, but the formula's starting to like it raw even more. $21 average sale price of Scoot Henderson's 2023 Prism Silver 141. That's a snipe price right there, $21. And you can make 46% ROI on this card. Why? Because it sells for over $100 in PSA 10. It sells for over $50 in PSA 9, and it has a 57% gem rate. So our formula that we put together likes it a lot. So if you can find 51 of these, it's only $2,153, and that nets you $1,000, which gives you your 46% ROI. Now, again, finding 51 gradable Scoot Hendersons for, an average price of $21, that's going to be hard, but it's doable. And the way you can do it, because we've counted down 3 of the top 5 sports card opportunities to buy raw and grade already for all of these, and for the number 2 and number 1 coming up here in a minute, is you can go to nooffseason.com. You can find the formula-based sports card rankings, and you can click on the card. When you click on the card in the rankings, it takes you to the player profile page. On the player profile page is a link to all of the listings for these cards curated on eBay for you, courtesy of myself and the team at nooffseason.com. So that's a shortcut to find these cards. I personally like Scoot as a breakout player in his second year for the Portland Trailblazers. I think they're building a nice little squad there, and Scoot's going to be the center of that squad, possibly sooner than later. And now is the time to be looking for NBA sleepers. So I'm looking for NBA sleepers. I think Scoot's one of them. I'd love to know what you think. Drop a comment below. All right, now let's go to another sport. We've talked about football already. We let it off with football. We've talked about hoops. Now let's go to baseball. These next 2 guys, the formula likes them a lot. Now, normally we would say don't buy a player's first card or their rookie card until several months after all of their cards have come out. Well, baseball is totally different than that. Because when their first cards come out in Bowman, literally the first with the first icon on it, There really are no other cards that are going to hit the market. They're going to supersede those cards. Football, there will be. Basketball, there will be. Baseball, once the first Bowman comes out, that's the card. That's the right card for the right player. Now, is it the right time? Well, the data says it is for Walker Jenkins. Walker Jenkins, his 2024 Bowman Chrome First Prospect Auto is going for $190 right now. That's a lot of money. Quite a bit more money than any of the cards we've talked about today. It's almost 4 times the amount of money of the most expensive card that we've talked about today. But Walker Jenkins, Minnesota Twins outfield prospect. Many believe he's the real deal. And for $190 snipe price and a 50% gem rate, if you gem this card, it sells for $550 right now. The PSA 9 is selling for $425. So you got a decent chance for $211 all in, because I add your grading fee in the formula. To buy this card raw, grade it, you could sell it right away, or you can hold till the call up or the pre-call up hype. 76% ROI. So if you can find 6 of these, which I know you can, it's not going to be easy, but I know you can net $1,000. And to net $1,000, you only need to put in $1,322.88. Now, for those of you who are new to the Sports Card Strategy Show, you're probably like, wow, this dude throws out a lot of numbers. There's a lot of digits up in here. Yeah, I get it. But, my thing is to help you make money flipping sports cards. And we can't just go haphazard here. We can't just buy this, sell that, hunch here, hunch there. We have to use data. We have to use the numbers. So we crunch numbers all the time, and we find opportunities for you at nooffseason.com. We preview them and give them away, give a lot of them away for free here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. That's one of the many reasons why you listen and watch the Sports Card Strategy Show, because we are giving this valuable information away for free based on our research. And again, we think differently. So if you're a first-time listener, you're probably like, wow, like this guy's talking about ROI percentages. He's talking about putting in $1,322. I don't have $1,322. That's fine. But I built this formula because I want to help you prioritize where you put your money. So I'm not saying you need to put in $1,322, but a lot of people ask me frequently, how do I make X amount of money monthly flipping sports cards? And so that's why I put together this formula, because based on $1,000 net profit per card, I'm reverse engineering that. So if you want to make $1,000 net on a card, you only need to buy 6 Walker Jenkins 2024 Bowman Chrome First Prospect Autos. If you can get them at the snipe price of $190, which is based on the last comp. Everything's based on the last comp, by the way. Or whatever the seller wants the last comp to be out of the last 5 or 6 comps. Wink, wink. Then you can make money on this card. You can make 76% net profit. So Walker Jenkins is the man there. Now, I also have a lot of people tell me, hey, Paul, I don't have $190 to spend on a card. That's fine. Guess what? A card that you can make even more ROI percentage on is just Walker Jenkins 2024 Bowman Chrome First Prospect base at $3 a pop. So you don't need 190. You need 3. And then to grade it, you need 21, although that fee's less now because there's still a PSA special going. So you put $24 or less into a card. It has an upside of $85 in a PSA 10. So with that math, you would need 53 of them, but you would spend less than the auto. You only need 6 of the auto, but you need 53 of the base to make 1,000 net. But you only need to put in 1267. Now, again, you can mix and match. So if you can find one Walker Jenkins gradable 2024 Bowman Chrome first prospect base, you got a solid chance at a 79% ROI on that card. Personally, I like to go look for as many of these as I can find. Full disclosure, I haven't found 53 of them, but I've definitely found double digits of them, and I'm submitting them to PSA. So you're actually going to see that coming up now. So before you see that in our Will They Gem segment, where I actually show you what I'm doing, let's say hello to Ninja Siblings and Sean Red 5 Cards. Good to see Sean. Sean, hope you're feeling well, my man. I know you're going through a little something on the health front. Wishing you well and wishing everybody else out there very well. Ben Dowse throwing out his NBA sleeper. I like it. Haven't done a whole lot of research on this one, but I would assume this guy would be in the mix for more playing time in 2024 for the Detroit Pistons. Jaden Ivey, the 5th overall pick in the 2022 draft. You likely can get him on a discount right now because he did not have the best second season, but I agree with Ben Dowse on the Jaden Ivey call. We're going to have to dig into the data, though, to see if, in fact, that is a formula approved recommendation. But Ben, appreciate it, my man. So let's get into Will They Gem. For those of you who don't know, this is the segment where I show you what I've got going on from buying and flipping cards, like what I'm actually doing. So as I said at the top of the show, when I was out last week, I had some pre-recorded episodes play and those got some rave reviews. So I appreciate that. But I also had a ton of mail when I got home. So what you're looking at, and for those of you listening, this is about 20 packages that I received when I was out, and I came home and I was obviously very excited that all of my packages showed up. They looked good. And we had some mail day fun, like big time mail day at the Sports Card Strategy Show studio. So as I open them, you all get to see at youtube.com/Paul Hickey what I actually opened in my mail day. And it's a plethora of formula approved cards. And, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but drop a comment below if you like it when the seller includes a bunch of extra cards. I used to like it, but honestly, now I'm not as big of a fan of it, mainly because it kind of throws me off in terms of like what card I'm actually looking for. Like in this case, as I'm opening this card, there were so many extra cards, and the way that this person packaged it, I almost threw out the actual card itself. So I want to know, like, has anything like this ever happened to you where you've actually almost missed the actual card that you bought because the seller put in just a ridiculous amount of extra cards? And this card, like this, I actually like literally tossed the real card aside because it was so hidden in the pack and it was in the cardboard that I almost threw it away. It was in my trash pile. And then I was like, wait a minute, none of these cards out of all these cards this guy has sent me is the actual card I ordered. So luckily I did not throw out this Xavier Worthy Bowman. This is a BGS raw card review. So this got a 9.5 in a Beckett raw card review. And it's an Xavier Worthy Bowman out of 2023 Bowman autograph, the 1955 design, serial numbered out of 99. So it is not a first Xavier Worthy, but it is serial numbered out of 99 in his Texas uniform. Great looking auto, on card auto. And I do believe that this will gem at PSA and put me in a situation where I can sell it during the training camp or preseason hype that there's bound to be around the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, first round draft pick, Patty Mahomes' new target. And, hopefully he can upstage Hollywood Brown and we just have a ridiculous amount of extra cards with this Xavier Worthy. God, I almost threw that card out. That would have been a shame. And the seller would have gotten really, really negative reviews for that, even though it would have been my fault for throwing out the card. That just really threw me off. So, especially when you're buying as many cards as I'm buying right now, because I'm flipping sports cards as my full-time job, along with creating the Sports Card Strategy Show multiple times a week and running nooffseason.com, of course. Flipping sports cards is my full-time job. So I'm just buying a lot of sports cards right now based on the formula at nooffseason.com, based on some BGS 9.5 searches, which many of you are familiar with from last week's show. If you're not familiar with it, go back and check out last Monday's episode as well. My new favorite eBay search, BGS 9.5. So we've got some people in the live chat saying extra cards are a bit annoying. Eric Stefano, what's up, man? Good to see you in the live chat. Up next is some Davison de los Santos. Now, this is courtesy of our guy Lefty Cards, Kendall the Lefty McKee, who will be joining me, by the way, this Wednesday. So this Wednesday on the Sports Card Strategy Show, Lefty McKee is going to co-host. And this is his guy, Davison de los Santos. We ran Davison de los Santos, Bowman, Chrome, First Prospect, Auto, Base through the formula, and the formula liked it. And I think that one could gem, and I actually bought 4 of them for an average price of around $45 to $50, between $45 and $50 per Davison de los Santos Auto. So I'm excited about that. All of these are going to be sent off to PSA. Some of these are slabs I have to crack. Speaking of that, this is a Joe Burrow 2020 Donruss Optic Bronze BGS 9.5. No subgrades, but I'm going to crack it. I got it for a snipe price I was happy with. Again, this is kind of a follow-up on last week's episode where I talked about how to make money buying BGS 9.5s. And couple of things that I want to make sure that I mention about buying BGS 9.5s. You definitely need to make sure that you're looking at the PSA 9 price, because if you're spending significantly more on the BGS 9.5 than the PSA 9, then you're opening up yourself to some serious potential risk, because there's no guarantee that a BGS 9.5 is going to get a PSA 10. In fact, I think that Joe Burrow that I just showed you is a slightly off center on the front. So I hope it meets PSA's standards for centering for a PSA 10, but it could be a PSA 9. So you got to do your homework, and you got to make sure, A, that there's upside in going BGS 9.5 to PSA 10, but B, that there's not too much downside in a PSA 9 versus what you're about to pay for the BGS 9.5. So here's the other Davison de los Santos, one of the other 4 that got delivered while I was out. And this one looks pretty well centered. I think these first 2 Davison de los Santos have a pretty solid chance at a Gem Mint 10 at PSA, which would be huge. Looks really well centered on the back. So him shushing the crowd, I think, makes up for the fact that his auto is just in a ridiculous spot. It's not like his auto looks like a bad SIG. It just looks ridiculously off-centered. I mean, it is ridiculously off-centered. So don't grade the auto. Definitely don't grade the auto. Grade the card. And you could have something with these Davison de los Santos. Because again, if you can get it for the same average acquisition cost that I got, which was between $45 and $50, there's a lot of ROI there. And check it out in the formula at nooffseason.com. So now there's some eBay standard envelope going on here. For those of you who don't know, the eBay standard envelope is a cheaper way of shipping your cards. So if you're selling lower dollar cards, it's a good use of, making sure that the customer doesn't have to pay, say, $5 in shipping for a card that's like $2 or $3. So shout out to the seller for sending these in the eBay standard envelope. And we've got some Walker Jenkins Bowman Chrome firsts here. So the formula likes, sorry, these are Dylan Cruz. I said Walker Jenkins. Dylan Cruz, Bowman Chrome first. The formula likes these cards as well. We talked about Walker Jenkins ROI a minute ago. And Dylan Cruz, you go check it out at nooffseason.com in terms of where Dylan Cruz, Bowman Chrome first, ranks in the formula-based rankings. But there's a lot of ROI in these cards, raw to grade as well. And I'm starting to kind of figure out the centering on those. Obviously, pre-grading is what this segment's all about, looking at like, will it gem? And I'm starting to understand how to pre-grade the 2024 Bowmans a little bit better. Centering's different. It's a different design than Bowman Draft. That was a Tiger Woods BGS 9.5 that I got for $100. That card, the formula likes a lot raw to grade, but because it's so old, it's 2001, finding it in BGS 9.5 at a price that's close to a PSA 9, but a lot of upside in a PSA 10 is a good idea. So I went BGS 9.5, Tiger Woods, 2001 upper deck, card number 1. I got it for $100. So there's some upside there for me and not a whole lot of downside. And, for example, that card in PSA 10 sells for $300. So if I can go BGS 9.5 for 100 up to the 305, that's massive. But there's a high likelihood that even if it gets a PSA 9, I can still break even on that card. And that's the game. And so that's also what I'm hoping to do here with this Jalen Hurts Prism Black Chronicles. This was super cheap. And there's some upside in it in PSA 10. And it has pretty high subgrades. So I'm going to crack that thing out. I think it could gem for sure. Here's a Victor Wembanyama base Prism. Still paying, around $40 for that card. The formula likes it at a $44 target cost snipe price. At that price, it's still selling for $153 in PSA 10. I don't see that going down. So that's there's still a 64% ROI on that particular card. So I think that one could gem. It looked really well centered. The only thing with some of these is the up-down centering. That's my only concern, is the up-down centering. So, we're keeping it moving here. Saying hello to X Galaxy 33 in the live chat. And Card Collector Pro. Good to see Card Collector Pro in the live chat. And here's an anomaly in Will It Gem, because this is already a PSA 10. So it doesn't quite fit in the Will It Gem segment. But this is actually a good time for me to talk about this card. 2020 Panini Optic Hollow PSA 10 Jordan Love rated rookie. I think even though the formula doesn't love that card, the reason why the formula doesn't love that card, for context, is because it doesn't have historical sales data that's high enough in September for the formula to love that card. But I believe Jordan Love is going to be one of the most sought after quarterbacks at the National, which, by the way, is in less than 6 weeks. So pumped to see many of you in Cleveland. We will be there. And I believe Jordan Love is going to play well for the Green Bay Packers this year, and it's going to see some performance spikes in September. I think he could be an early MVP candidate. So I like the Jordan Love Optic Hollow PSA 10, an anomaly in Will It Gem. Here's another Davison De Los Santos. This is number 3 out of the 4 that I bought. It looks good. It looks like it could gem. It looks like the back centering could be a little bit off. But other than that, I mean, the front centering looks good. No other visible flaws here. Saying what's up to Hector in the live chat. Good to see you. Hector, I've heard your name. Are you the same Hector that is in the Football Card Quest live chat with Andy and Carter frequently? If so, great to have you over here on the Sports Card Strategy Show live chat. If not, still love you. Welcome to the nooffseason.com fam. Hector says 4 days until the PSA special is over. Need to clean and send submission real soon. Confirmed, Hector. Yes, that is the same Hector. Love it. Good to see you, my man. Welcome to the nooffseason.com fam over here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Now this one, for those of you watching at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, kind of made me laugh when I opened it because of the way that it was packaged in the eBay standard envelope. I'd never seen cards actually taped together to perfectly fill the eBay standard envelope. Ryan Painter, I wonder if you've seen cards like this where they're actually just set side by side with blue painter's tape. Of course, it was well packaged, but I am struggling to get it open. But what this is a lot of more Dylan Cruz. So I bought this lot because there's chrome Dylan Cruz first, and there's paper Dylan Cruz first, and there's insert Dylan Cruz cards. And I got this super cheap. I want to say it was like $16 to $20 all in for these 6 Dylan Cruz cards. So 2 papers, 2 chromes, and 2 inserts. Now, one thing Lefty and I have noticed a lot recently when we look at the data is that upon call up, the paper first PSA 10s have more profit margin than the chrome first PSA 10s and even the autos. Profit margin being the key there. Definitely not overall profit, but profit margin, which is clutch because that's what you're looking for anyway. And that's for all of you, whether you have a low budget or a high budget or somewhere in between. Don't discount, don't fade the paper cards. If you're ripping them out of hobby boxes, or you're ripping them out of blaster boxes or packs or whatever, however you're getting your 2024 Bowmans, don't discount the paper. You should grade them if they are gradable. And that's why I acquired those Dylan Cruz papers. Now, here's another anomaly on the Willett Gem, a Garrett Wilson Contenders rookie ticket auto PSA 10. I got it in an auction for around $200. Anytime you can get a player like Garrett Wilson or a top quarterback or a top running back in an auction in a Contenders rookie ticket auto PSA 10, do it. Just snipe the auction because it's going to go up from June through the end of August. So I'm really excited about that Garrett Wilson Contenders rookie ticket auto PSA 10. Another nugget there for you here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. And there was my final Davison De Los Santos, a little bit off center on the front. I think, I've been struggling in my grades lately. My grades haven't been as high as I would have liked them to be. I've been submitting a lot of cards and getting a lot of 9s. My last submission, which I'll probably go over with you guys soon in an upcoming show, out of 16 cards, I think had like 4 10s and 12 9s. So drop a comment below how your grading submission's been going. And I think out of my 4 Davison De Los Santoses, if I can get 2 10s, it's a win. I think 2 10s is a massive win. I'm expecting 1 10 and 3 9s just based on how the gem rate's been going lately from PSA. Just a lot of much lower grades than I really thought. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You just got to keep playing the game because the profit is there. So you got to stay in the game. Now this one here came from my BGS 9.5 search. This is all 9.5 subgrades. Drew Lock rookie ticket auto out of 2019. It's a flyer play. I didn't pay that much for this card. If by some chance Drew Lock gets the starting call for the New York Giants this year, that card will go up massively. I think I want to say I paid, definitely under $100 for it. And I really think that it could easily be like a $200 or $300 card without a doubt if Drew Lock gets called into the starting lineup this year. In fact, let me try to find exactly what I paid for that card for you here, guys. So for the Garrett Wilson, it was a $190. And this is a Baker Mayfield downtown rookie, BGS 9.5. I really like this one because it's all 9.5 subgrades. I paid $121 for the Drew Lock. Okay, so it was over $100. But I think that could double if he gets a start. The Baker Mayfield Optic downtown 305 all in, all 9.5 subgrades. That one's going to PSA. And so is the Drew Lock, by the way. So, Baker, the Drew Lock and the Baker were in auctions, which I really love. Because again, getting the fair market value for it in June for a football card like that of a top NFL quarterback and a backup for that matter, with the likelihood to potentially start in a big market, getting an auction price in June means there's upside for sure in August, September. And last but not least one of the last but not least is that Breece Hall 2022 Prism Gold Shimmer PSA 10 out of 10. And I'm super pumped about that because I love Breece Hall for this season, and I was able to get that card for $500. There's obviously not that many comps on it, but that is around what the last comp for the gold non-shimmer went for and around what the last comp for the shimmer itself went for. So I think this is our last card in Will It Gem right here. Shohei Ohtani BGS 9.5 Topps Chrome Pitching 2018. That card sells for about $150 in PSA 10. And, the recap here is my upcoming grading submission. As you can see, it's a mix of a lot of Dylan Cruz, Davison De Los Santos. There's a Victor Wembanyama in there. This is Xavier Worthy. And there's some Bijan Robinson cards that I'm really excited about and some Stephon Castle cards that I'm really excited about. So that's a massive PSA submission. And then I also have on my desk right here 9 more BGS 9.5 slabs that I have to crack and get into a PSA submission. So a lot going on in the sports card investment portfolio here at nooffseason.com for Paul Hickey, yours truly. And I'm excited to get to our hobby questions. But first, are you ready to start grading your sports cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. Now, I will say, I think CGC Cards makes a whole lot more sense for PC protection, cheaper pricing, quick turnaround time. For the plays I'm making that I just showed you, PSA is going to give you the most upside on the secondary market by far, well ahead of CGC, but not everybody's in it to make money on every single card. So if you've got some cards laying around, and I do, I've got some cards laying around that I think would be better suited for CGC, send them off to CGC Cards, cgccards.com. Tell them nooffseason.com sent you. And now it's time for our new segment, Hobby Questions, with Dustin, the sports card dad. So let's hear what Dustin had to say. And I want to know what you think of my hobby questions. Feel free to answer them below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Here we go. What's the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone new in the hobby?
That would be to take in as much information as possible. Just take it all in. On social media, when I got back into the hobby 2018, there wasn't nearly as much info in collectibles as a whole, but especially sports cards. Now you have a lot of different commentary channels, people throwing out their opinions, throwing out different strategies. And so take it all in and then get in the game, buy, sell, trade, figure out what works, what you like to buy, what you like to collect, what you like to flip. And all of those experiences just make the whole thing really fun, building out relationships with other hobbyists.
What's the biggest hobby L you're comfortable sharing?
All right, biggest L you're comfortable sharing. I actually shared this on a video going back a few weeks ago. It was a 2015 select courtside Devin Booker rookie card, and it was the silver prism version, so the more rare version in a PSA 9. I bought this at the Dallas Card Show in May of 2021 during a lot of the highs for cards, and I ended up selling it, a few months back for about $350. I bought it for $1,200, so we're talking about a $900 loss. It was a juicy loss. So that's one where you live and you learn. You take a chance. It didn't work out. Life goes on.
What's the biggest hobby W you're comfortable sharing?
Again, going back to that crazy time, end of 2020 and into 2021, I had a BGS 10 2019 Luka Doncic Silver Prism. And back then it was funny, even though that was a second year Silver Prism for Luka, still commanded high prices. And the BGS 10, I bought it for around $150, $200, and it got all the way up to $1,050. And that's where I sold it off. So I guess to offset that Booker, we have that one. I don't know if that was the biggest, but that was definitely one that stuck out. But back then, there was pretty easy ways to kind of buy and sell. And so that was just kind of a weird anomaly during that time.
Printing plate or out of 99 auto?
I probably go numbered out of 1999 auto. I'm not a big printing plate guy. I've got a couple of those types of cards, and I understand they're one of ones. A lot of times there's a few different versions of the printing plate, but I would go with the out of 99 auto.
Card shows or eBay?
Card shows or eBay. Pros and cons to both of these. Obviously, when you're at a card show, you can hold the card in your hand and you can look at it. Whereas on eBay, you can't do that. You're kind of just hoping for the best. You're looking at the zoomed in images and hoping that it is what it is. But there's also convenience with eBay, just being at home. You can very easily just click, 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 buy cards, move on. Whereas card shows, you're taking that time, that effort to go there. But again, camaraderie, hanging out with other hobbyists. There's an excitement getting ready to go to a card show that I think a lot of us feel. So this is kind of tough for me. I would say eBay only because with busy life, I love going to card shows, but I just don't have, if I was only buying cards at card shows, I wouldn't be able to buy very much. eBay gives me the ability to quickly buy, sell, etc.
RPA or RTA?
RPA or RTA. RPA, rookie patch auto, or rookie ticket auto, meaning contenders rookie ticket auto. This one's kind of tough because I feel like it depends on the player. Like if we're talking about Tom Brady, I would say the rookie ticket auto. The RPA, I would say for most players, I probably go with the RPA. Just aesthetically, I like the rookie patch auto, especially if it's some sort of a game used patch, game worn patch, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go RPA for that one.
College uniform superfractor or pro uniform out of 25?
College uni superfractor or pro uni numbered out of 25. I think, again, this depends on the player, depending on the college, the aesthetic of the card. It is kind of a tough one. As a New Orleans Saints fan, if it's a Saints card out of 25, I probably go with that. College uni superfractor, though, is going to be one of one. This is tough for me, but I would probably go college uniform superfractor in today's climate, where we have all this weirdness with Panini and Topps and college uni and kind of unlicensed and all that is kind of back. It's in vogue now. I'm going to go college uniform superfractor.
Unlicensed auto out of 5 or licensed auto out of 99?
I'm going licensed auto out of 99 here, only because as much as I love kind of the Leaf, the Wild Card, the unlicensed auto out of 5, and there's some great looking cards from those sets, I would still prefer the licensed auto out of 99.
PSA 10 or BGS 10 pristine?
I go BGS 10 pristine here. I just like the look of the slab, and I think it's getting easier to get BGS 10s, but I still go BGS 10 pristine for this one.
When chasing a new release, you A, buy a case, B, rip a hobby box, C, buy into a break, D, buy singles, E, all of the above, F, none of the above, or G, other. And please explain.
I only buy singles. There might be a rare instance, where I would buy into a break or buy a hobby box, but the price point would just have to be right. It would definitely not be for a new sports card product. It would probably be more of like, hobby box for Stranger Things cards, or kind of a non-sport thing that I like, where the hobby box is $100. It's not $1,000, and it would be just more for fun, not trying to get into, not necessarily trying to get that big hit and so forth.
What release do you most look forward to on the calendar each year?
For the releases, it's interesting. I don't chase new rookies necessarily, but I would say, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Panini Prism, because I do like the design of the cards. I know they haven't changed the design here over the last few years, but as a football card collector, I really do enjoy, seeing those new Prism cards come out and the gold Prisms and the one-of-ones and that sort of thing. So I would vote here Prism, but I don't chase a lot of new releases. I mainly buy singles of older stuff, and occasionally buy singles of some of the newer stuff.
What hobby event do you most look forward to on the calendar each year?
It would definitely have to be the National, of course, the largest card show of the year, and you get to see friends, you get to meet with companies that I'm working with. So it's just an all-around great time, and it's kind of a mini vacation, and kind of the mecca really for card collectors is the National. Thanks again, Paul. I appreciate you inviting me to take part in this. Talk to you later, buddy.
Dustin, great work. Thanks for being on the Sports Card Strategy Show, sharing your answers to our hobby questions. Hopefully you all out there in the audience enjoy this new segment. And if you have any requests for other content creators or hobbyists to be part of the hobby questions here on the Sports Card Strategy Show, let me know. Drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey with your requests for other content creators that we are going to talk to. We're definitely going to talk to at least a few more next week. It's probably going to be Duke Denny One Time Dotson of Graybo's. They just opened up the new location there in Richmond, Virginia. So definitely got to check them out. All right, we've got some questions in the live chat that I'm going to answer real quick before the end of today's show. David T says, what are your thoughts on the 2024 Bowman AI cards? Well, my thoughts, David T, are that they are selling very well for the top prospects. Check out our baseball card market update every Monday here on the Sports Card Strategy Show feed for more on those Bowman AI cards. Ninja Siblings, who I think is Frank Cosman, says, I got a PSA 10 on a throw-in Bronny base card when I bought the Bronny auto. Yeah, see, we talked earlier on in the show about like extra cards as packing material, whether or not we like that as a buyer opening them up. And we kind of dogged it for a while, but I've actually had the same thing happen to me because Kaz is basically saying he bought a Bronny auto and they gave him an extra Bronny card, a base card, and the base card got the 10. I've actually had that happen with Carson Beck autos that I've bought where they threw in a Carson Beck base first. And I've had that happen with Shedeur Sanders as well. So they can actually go in the right direction on those extra cards. I think if they throw in an extra card that's relevant like that, maybe a card or two that's relevant, that's great. But like a ridiculous amount of extra cards just to get rid of it just kind of confuses the matter, and I don't really like it. Hector says, I always struggle with chasing rare high value cards when low value has higher margins. Yeah, that's a good point, Hector. I struggle with it as well, and that is why I built the formula at nooffseason.com to use the data to point my head in the right direction and not be too emotional about it. Card Collector Pro, watching over on X Live, says, loading up on LeBron rookies in anticipation of his retirement season whenever it is announced. Think you could take advantage of SGC's basketball special. Thoughts? Well, I love the idea of loading up on LeBron rookies. Don't necessarily love the idea of grading them with SGC, however, but thanks, Card Collector Pro. I would, for profit, go with PSA. For PC, go with CGC. Recipe Kitchen, new name in the live chat, says, hold or sell Prism Silver PSA 10 CJ Stroud. I would hold. I think that's going to go up when the season starts. I think hopefully he will have a performance spike in September that will send it up even further, but I do think it will go up just upon the hype of the NFL season starting in late August, early September. And Jabroni Cards Joshua Flake says, hey fam, question for y'all. Does anyone know if Panini Encased has an exclusive grading deal with BGS? Seems like every encased card I see is BGS. Yeah, it is. It's for the last several years, it's been a partnership where Panini takes a card, has it graded by BGS and puts it in the encased release. I don't actually think that happens anymore. I think that Panini now on the encased releases actually just Panini seals them. Ninja Siblings says, how much was the Jordan Love card, Paul? So for those of you who missed it earlier on in the episode, just going to kind of recap. I have now bought 3 Jordan Love 2020 Optic Hollow PSA 10s. The one that I showed in the Will It Gem segment, I paid $205.95 for. I have since bought 2 more because I believe that card is going to go up quite a bit. The second one, these are all in auctions, by the way. The second one I bought in an auction was yesterday, $232.46. So that actually is, 20 or so dollars higher than the first one. And then the third one I bought was $230.14. And so we're talking about dollar cost average on Wednesday's show with Lefty. So stay tuned for that. Dollar cost average. We're definitely going to have some insights on what we typically talk about on Wednesday's show, which are top already graded cards to buy now and flip later. But Lefty and I are going to break down the importance of dollar cost average, how to use it to your advantage, if you will, on Wednesday's show. I'm excited about that. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. I want you all to have a great day. Thanks again for all of your support. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at NoOffSeason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.